The definition of success is alignment. And it's alignment of three things. It's the alignment of your core values. It's the alignment of your core values with your vision story, and the alignment of your core values with your vision story with your behaviors, which is where are we investing those limited resources of our time, energy, focus, and money? We can look at those things and say, am I operating in a place of alignment?
Hello and welcome to the Remarkable CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to chiropractors who want to transform their job into a business so that they can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. With your hosts, Dr. Pete Camiolo and Dr. Stephen Franson.
At Genesis, we help successful chiropractors implement spinal decompression with a fully turnkey system that handles everything from marketing and new patient generation to systems, protocols, and ongoing support. The result? Massive value for your practice and life-changing outcomes for your patients, all without drugs or surgery. This is the next evolution in chiropractic care. Welcome to Genesis.
What's up, Remarkables? Welcome to another episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast, chiropractic's #1 business podcast. I'm Dr. Stephen Franson.
And I'm Dr. Pete Camiolo.
And as usual, we are coming in hot. Man, we have been on the road, been road warriors. Dr. Pete, this has been a season, man. I feel like I've just done a world tour. I was on the road, I think 8 out of 11 weekends. And it sounds like, too much, but it was just enough, to be honest with you, because every single stop, I was either with my family or with awesome chiropractors or both. And both of those things just energized me. Being in great places with great people doing great things. What a blast. I was in Vancouver. I was in Denver. So Vancouver was Lux. Denver was Mile High. We had the Phoenix immersion for TRP. We had the London intensive, our first one-day London intensive in the UK, which was just fantastic, just so awesome. We were just at the Remarkable CEO Summit for the first time in Atlanta at the Porsche Center. Man, all of each one of these events, it just kept getting better and better and better. As much as I'm actually physically exhausted, I am philosophically, emotionally, spiritually just energized. And I'm excited about the conversation we're going to have today.
Yeah, Doc, it's awesome what's happening in our profession. We can see that it's a beautiful season to be a chiropractor. It's a great time in history to be in the chiropractic profession. And you're going to want to be around what's happening at Remarkable, because I think we're right where the puck is going, and we're at the tip of the spear, and we're continuing to refine the chiropractic and chiropractor and just help us grow to the next level. We had awesome meetings. You and I were able to go to, I remember even before that, when we were down in Orlando, FCA had some great meetings down there, just a lot of movement happening. I was able to be at the Chiropractic Revolution, which was in Knoxville, got a chance to be there as well. So a lot of great things happening right now in our profession. I'm grateful that we get to be a part of that and continue to bring our message, which hopefully brings hope and healing to the chiropractor to help them build that remarkable business, because we know that we're in the business of saving lives. And when our businesses are doing good, everybody wins. And we want to make sure your businesses are doing good. That's right. What we're taking what seems to be very complex, which it is, and hard, which it is, and we're simplified, and we're making it better. Yes. We're not against hard work and working hard. We know that it is hard work. That's what we're here to do. We're here to make a big impact, make a difference in the world. That's why you are here. That's why God gave you the gift of chiropractic and why you've been entrusted with the message. So it's a matter of how do we do it better? And Dr. Stephen, I know that there's temptations to get shifting one way or the other. Just going back to an experience we had at the Porsche experience, one of the guys actually drifted off the road into the grass. It was hard to believe, it's possible, but it happens. One of the experiences, parts of the experience was to drive your car on water. I know I'm referencing the experience. We talked about this on a previous episode, but you're on water, and by intention, you're actually sliding on water. Or there was a powder experience where you're sliding, you're literally drifting on purpose. And so there's an intention there, but there's a skill to drifting well and still under control. And I learned some really cool things about that. And in case you're riding on snow or ice, it gave you some really good tips to do that and tactics about that. And of course, I won't be sliding on the ice probably in a Porsche anytime soon, but in the scenario, if I was, I probably should have kept it in the garage kind of thing. You shouldn't be driving that in that kind of weather. But in that scenario, you learned how to drift. unfortunately, many of us in chiropractic tend to drift, Dr. Stephen. We're seeing that now, and I know you see that as you travel around the world. It's the drift happens, right? And what we want to speak to today is, what do we do when we drift off mission, right? When we're off purpose, when we're out of alignment. We talk about the definition of success as alignment, and it's alignment of three things. It's the alignment of your core values. It's the alignment of your core values with your vision story, and the alignment of your core values with your vision story with your behaviors, which is where are we investing those limited resources of our time, energy, focus, and money? We can look at those things and say, am I operating in a place of alignment, or have I drifted out of alignment? Today's conversation, Dr. Stephen, is going to be about how we drift out of alignment and how do we get back into alignment in our businesses and in our lives.
Yeah, I think the big takeaway for the drifting exercise at the Porsche Center was actually teaching how to recover when you were in the drift, right? So once you can really master, like, how can you get a car to drift under control, that control is how you recover, right? So, and just recognizing that there's a nuance to the throttle and the braking and the steering and the positioning of the vehicle. And it's just knowing how to feel when the car is drifting and exactly how to not react, but to respond. And knowing ahead of time what you should do and not do, right? So, that was my big takeaway from that drifting experience. And that so much of that translates into running a practice at speed, right? So when we talk about the keys to building the remarkable practice and remarkable business, is really a 3-step process that just continually repeats over and over and over again, right? So it's operationalize, it's professionalize, and then optimize, right? So, and we're constantly doing those three things, right? So you're operationalizing, you're professionalizing, and you're optimizing, and in that order, right? So operationalizing, of course, refers to the systems, like systematizing everything, operationalizing all the primary functions of the business across all 5 domains of your business, across attraction or marketing, conversion or sales, your retention or delivery, your team building or your people, and the collections or the money, right? So it's operationalizing all of those functions in the business. So there's reproducible, repeatable systems that are delegatable and trainable, right? So that's the big idea here. When you create operations and you operationalize your business, the fruit of operationalizing the business is scalability. Right. So that's step 1. Step 2 is professionalizing the business, right? So professionalizing means that you quite simply bring in people, you hire people that are better at that role than you would be, right? So you bring in people, you hire them specifically for their skill sets, their talents, their God-given abilities, their experience to pull your business forward, right? I'm not talking about hiring the barista or the kid that was folding t-shirts in the mall last week and now they're your office manager running the business. With all due respect, that's not professionalizing, right? So that's staffing. I'm talking about professionalizing the business, which is making the investment of your money to buy somebody else's time, energy, focus, and talent and experience and knowledge base and skill sets, bring them into your business to pull your business forward. That's professionalizing. When you hire somebody that's actually better than you are at something and it pulls the business forward categorically, right? And then finally, number 3, it's where we all want to spend our time, which is optimizing, right? So when you had that car spinning around, drifting, you were optimizing the position. It was you were optimizing the balance between the braking, the throttle, the steering, the position of the car, right? All the momentum you were carrying, the friction against the road. That was just, you were optimized. And if you weren't optimized, you would lose it. Either spin out, spin all around, or you'd straighten out and correct, right? So it was a perfect metaphor for learning how to run your business at speed, is you want to spend your time optimizing, right? So this all triggered a conversation, right? So, and the conversation that we had in that room was carried into our masterminds for the next couple of weeks, which was the frustration that, we hear from our CEOs of like, yeah, that's all great, but the second I turn my back on everything and I look back, I'm like, man, they're no longer doing they're not following the system, right? So they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not saying what they're supposed to be saying, right? So Dr. Pete, I'd love to have a conversation around entropy, right? So, and entropy is a universal law, right? So law is a big word. When you drop a law in nature, you should pay attention, especially as a CEO, right? So when you hear law, there's not that many laws. Entropy is a law, and it's a law that states for any system that if left alone passively will go from a state of order to disorder unless energy is invested in that system to reorder it or reorganize it, right? So in other words, things break down, shit falls apart, right? Things drift, right? At the end of the day, if you are not actively choosing to put energy into a system to reorder it, it is moving towards disorder. It's not a question. You don't have to think about it. It's like, if you know you're not putting energy into a system to reorganize it and create reorder, to create syntropy, if you're not choosing to do that, invest your time, energy, focus, and money, you can be assured, it's a law, that it's moving into disorder, right? Entropy rules. Things move from order to disorder. Dr. Pete, things in your business, in your practice, when you turn your back, they drift.
So Dr. Stephen, I remember when we first discussed this and learning this, the delegation methodology, which is so important. I want to speak about this because what essentially it is it's a framework to protect yourself and to ensure or to reduce the likelihood of drift. Okay. So the first thing is the I, and the I stands for identify, right? The first step in the delegation methodology is to identify. The way I teach this is the thing you have to identify is who has the identity, who is the avatar, who's the right person to be accountable for that function inside of your business. So think about this for a minute. If we want to prevent drift in, let's call it the adjusting, and which is the doctor role has two things: to adjust, educate, and to adjust each and every time someone comes in. So you want to identify someone who identifies with the identity of being a great chiropractic adjuster and an educator. If they don't identify and have that identity that I'm an educator and I'm an adjuster, and they don't meet both of those criteria, let's say they just want to adjust but not educate, I've identified someone who's not a good fit for the role of being a primary adjusting doctor because they don't educate and adjust. And in our model, in our business model, you don't get away with not being able to educate when you're adjusting. You have to educate and adjust. So that's a small little nuance, but it's how you prevent drift. It's just an example. You brought on an associate. The associate's a great adjuster, but for some reason, what we're seeing is more and more churn and more people dropping out of care. Our stick rates plummeted over the course of the last 12 months. We're seeing less and less people getting referred in. And, so that might be an example of referrals were down and our stick rate for just the initial intensive care plan was down. And you're wondering what happens. Guy's a great adjuster, phenomenal adjuster. She can adjust with the best of them. But what we find is that while they're a world-class adjuster and they love the technique, they're a great adjuster, they're pitiful when it comes to education. Actually, they don't educate. They don't open their mouth. They're not communicating. So they're not leading people. They're being led essentially by the patient, just doing what, in a sense, what they want. Their thought, which again, our first adjustment is the adjustment of the mind to get access to the adjustment to the spine. That's not happening in the daily visit. So we're relying on the TVs in the hot seats or the newsletters that are coming out, in the weekly email, the text threads that are coming out to the patient base, but we're missing on this amazing collision. You guys see what I'm talking about, Dr. Stephen? This is the example of a prime example of a business in scale that's drifting because we failed to identify someone who has the identity of being a chiropractor in my practice. To be a great chiropractor in my practice, you have to have two things: the ability to adjust and the ability to educate. Does that make sense? So I'm trying to
Dr. B, you're putting your finger in a bullet hole right now and wiggling it around for some of our CEOs right now, right?
So slowing down to speed up, that's just the first thing. We're barely scratching the surface of the first: identify, then it's train, then it's trust, then it's verify. There's a whole step. There's 4 parts to the equation. First part of the equation is to identify. The who is the right person to delegate. To identify, you must align with the identity of that person. When those two things merge and come together, now we've got step 1. If we haven't done that part well, which is the first part of the first 4 rights of getting the right person, the right role, those 2, good luck with the other 2. And that's when we start to see, man, my numbers over the last 12 months, I'm seeing this drift away from where we were. And now all of a sudden we're way over here. That's how we lost. Our R4 stick rate went from an 80% stick rate down to 62%. Our reconversion rates used to be right around 80%. They're down in the 70s. We're seeing our intern referrals drop significantly. And then as a result of that, of course, we see revenue going down, or we're feeling like we have to make up for it in other ways. So then we drift off of our purpose to try to gain revenues from other sources versus keeping it from the main thing. You guys see that? So we start to compromise because we're tolerating a weakness in the area of continuing education, which is a part of our brand and our model. So that's a Josh Stephen, just an example of a drift.
We're going to stay there because it's so painful. And I'm going to replace you and put my finger in the bullet wound right now, because it is something that we hear all the time. It's like, my freaking associate died, right? So it's like, hold on now, like, where did you start? Success lives when you have alignment between your core values, your vision story, and your behavior, right? So it's like, all right, so let's say our core value was, one of them is empowering people, right? So empowering our patients, right? So what does that mean? It means teaching them the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, right? Giving them back personal responsibility, right? So giving them hope and personal responsibility, teaching them that their behaviors matter, right? And making sure that they understand the role that chiropractic plays in all this. So that's a core value. You're empowering your people. How do you do that? Through education and role modeling, period. That's it, right? So, well, all right, so what's our vision story? We want to change the health trajectory of the families in our clinic. And what does that look like? We want to see 500 people a week. We want to have people coming in regularly with their children, multiple generations. So I'm not projecting my philosophy on you guys. I'm just giving an illustration of what alignment might look like. And then finally, it's like, when it comes to your behavior, well, what are the behaviors that would be in line with that? It would be, I'd be educating and adjusting. And you might say, yeah, there's 3 doctors here. And guess what we do? Person comes in, we do an objective assessment of their spine to see where their body's ready to be adjusted. We deliver world-class chiropractic care. We recognize that the body can probably only handle 2 or 3 forces maybe. So that's where we adjust so that we know exactly what's helping them and change it. So in this practice, the 3 of us, we adjust 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 segments, right? So, and then we educate them. We challenge and shape their belief systems, right? So that's what it looks like here. That's the vision story, right? That's the behavior that I'm shaping here in the clinic. And discontinuity is a cancer inside of a practice. We all have to behave the same way. Are we on point? Okay, let me systematize that. Let me train you, equip you, develop you as a doctor. Next thing you know, I turn my back 3 months later. You're not educating. You're talking about the Patriots, or you're talking about surfing, or you're talking about your dog had puppies, right? Or you're talking about some ridiculous television show. Are you watching Dancing with the Stars, right? With the patients, right? And no education, right? So next thing you know, you're doing 5 different analyses. You're adjusting 16 segments. You're adjusting both their feet, their shoes are off. You're checking their bunions, right? You're adjusting, you're doing 16-minute adjust. You guys follow me? It's like, we're drifting so far away from what we agreed was our patient experience, right? And that, like, you turned your back, and I know I'm exaggerating things, but you know what I'm talking about. You're going to see this in the report of findings. You taught them a report of findings, and then you listen in or you record their report of findings. You're like, what was that? Right? So you do a better results faster workshop. You give them the PowerPoint deck and they go to do it. And you sit in 2 months later and be like, what was that? Or maybe you sneak up to the front desk and you listen to a new patient intake, the first new patient phone call in your check-in CA. They've long let go of their scripting and their checklist and their process. And you listen and like, what was that? What is happening at the front desk, right? Guys, there is drift happening all around you. When you look at the 15 primary functions of the accountability grid, that's the stuff that's happening in your clinic. You can assume if you do not have systems, process, procedure, scripting, and training that's happening regularly, there's no question mark, you're experiencing drift everywhere. And for most of you, it's death by 1,000 cuts. Okay, so at the end of the day, the truth is this: you don't have to be awesome at everything. We just have to start sucking a little less at a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And that's only going to be happening if you are auditing your business, your practice, your process, procedures, and scripting regularly through training. Dr. Pete, the anti-serum to drift is training and making sure that we're doing regular, intentional trainings throughout all processes, procedures, attraction, conversion, retention, all day 1, 2, 3, 4, week 1, 2, 3, 4, month 1, 2, 3, 4, year 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 laps a year through all the training, and making sure that everybody in the team recognizes that drift and we get off course is us getting off purpose and getting off mission. And the purpose of training is to pull us back to recover from the drift and get us back online, get us back on purpose, get us back on mission, and get us back on goal.
So Dr. Stephen, in the delegation methodology, the second part of the equation is training. And, we can do a whole training on training. We probably should do an episode on it because we're probably due. Because if you think about it, the highest and best use of your time as a CEO is we say the greatest investment you can make is to invest back in your business, right? We know that. We've shown you teach us all the time about the S&P 500, real estate, and then reinvesting in your business. They're not even in the same conversation. It's wildly out of balance. We way better investment.
Outsized returns.
Yeah. So we know the greatest return on investment is reinvesting in your business, which actually means another way to say that is training your team, getting yourself first and then your team trained. And in cultures where we're constantly, continuously training, the highest ROI by a multiplier is training. And so if you think about this, Dr. Stephen, we use this as an analogy, but if you took 1 hour of your time, you have a team of 4, and every person is investing 40 hours per week. Think about that. For 1 hour of your time, you get 160 hours of influence. So think about it. Is there any investment you could put $1 in and get 160 bucks out? You get a team of 4 and you're investing an hour into that team every week. You spend an hour training on refining and optimizing everything that we do, the scripting, training on the process and procedure, and just executing with excellence, constantly never-ending improvement, that idea. When you invest in 1 hour, you get 160 hours back. Think about that. What ROI? Is there any better ROI than that? No way, hands down.
Off the charts.
The number one thing you could be doing, and we should be doing as CEOs, is finding more time to be investing in our business and making sure our team is trained. I'm not saying you have to do all the training, right? You can delegate and you can leverage other geniuses to train. It could be geniuses inside of your organization. It could be geniuses inside of our organization. But one way or the other, make sure that you're investing in that. But the second key, once you identify the person with the identity to do that role and to do it as it is defined, what success looks like, then you actually go into the training. Now, the purpose of training, the way that I look at this, is to equip. Okay. So think about equipping. Equipping someone is to say, man, I'm supposed to go do this job. Like, you want me to cut down these trees in the forest? Like, I need some tools. Equipping is giving somebody a pickaxe or a chainsaw, an axe, some rope, some spikes, a chipper. I don't know, all the things that you need to go clear out some trees. You got to equip someone. If you're going to put somebody at the front desk and say, I need you to be the boss of today, the hostess with the mostest, moving the needle on these 5 KPIs that are on your scorecard, they're kind of like doing this, like, well, how am I supposed to clear those trees? You're like, here's a chainsaw, here's some rope, here's some spikes, here's some, I got a couple of guys that are going to help you out too, because you're going to need some guys climbing, you're going to need somebody on the ground, you're going to need some. It's like, okay, good. That's equipping. That's what training says. I can take those. You want me to take those trees? Got it. We're good. Yep. Hey, everybody, come on in. We go to work. And so I equip my team. You equip your team with training. When someone's trained, they show up to like, hey, where's the job? I'm like, listen, I'm good. We're good. Excuse me. I got it. And they want to go. And a CA who's equipped at checking out or checking in or back office, running your vital signs, or a chiropractor who's equipped to do a day one, progress exam, teach the better results faster workshop, adjust a bunch of people. They're just like, hey, excuse me, I got this because you trained me. I have been trained. I have been equipped. And when someone's equipped, Dr. Stephen, they feel empowered, but only when you don't micromanage them. So the empowering literally means to transfer authority. So when I equip you so that you are empowered, but empowerment literally has to say, I trust you. So the third piece is to trust. When you trust somebody, then they feel empowered, because to be empowered means you have authority, which means I'm not going to look over your shoulder. You got this. It's saying, I know you got this. You've been equipped. Go. I empower you to go and do that. And that's why people that are empowered get a scorecard. You're not entitled to it because you got the job. You're empowered because you've been trained and equipped. Therefore, you're entrusted with it. Does that make sense? So you are entrusted and empowered because you've been equipped. Train, trust. But then here's the best part of this, Dr. Stephen. We don't just say, well, and that's it. Then they're gone. No, that's called abdication. There's a loop that gets closed in this series, in this conversation, that prevents drift, and that's the verification process. Which means, hey, we'll circle back. Let's connect. Hey, we'll call it daily huddle, pre and post shift. We'll call it the weekly team meeting. We'll call it our monthly meetups. We'll call it our quarterly board meetings. We'll call it our weekly team trainings or weekly doctor trainings. We'll call it the immersions. We'll call it the fill in the blank. You see that? What did we just do? We verified. We circle back. We check in. We report, and we discuss. We identify constraints, issues, challenges. We work through those. We get on the same page. We keep working on moving forward. And guess what we do? We refine, and we refine, and we get better and better as we go. And we prevent drift in our businesses. So if that's not describing your business and what it looks like, then we've got some things to work on. And you know what? That's exactly what it should be your highest priority. If you're listening to this, you're the CEO, it should be the highest priority for you to say, hey, you know what? We're going to create a stronger training culture, an environment where we're training, equipping, empowering, and people so we can truly entrust them And so that we can win, and we're not going to drift. We're going to stay on course.
This may be the theme for you for 2026, right? So for you to look and be able to say, this is the thing that's going to make the difference for us. I just recognize that, yeah, I'm reacting to drift as opposed to responding to it, right? So as I'm anticipating it, I know it's happening. So I'm going to keep my hand on the wheel. I'm going to keep my foot on the throttle, and I'm going to turn this car. I'm going to have it right at the right angle, and I'm going to be under control here. And the way I'm going to control is through my systems, my processes, my procedures, my scripting, and my training. You guys hear me on this. It's like, I'll close with this because some of you have thought you think you've arrived. I'm here to tell you haven't, right? So this is fitness. Okay. This is hygiene. You have to understand, it's like you don't get fit and arrive and it's like, oh, good. Now I'm going to, all that time I've been putting into getting in shape. Now that I'm here, it's going to free up a lot of time for me. Now I wonder what I'm going to do next, right? So that's God's sense of humor, guys. This is fitness, right? So we teach process and procedure, right? Process is what the patient experiences, what they see and they hear, right? What they see you doing, that's your process. Procedure is everything that's invisible to the patient, right? So it's everything that supports the process, right? So when we're talking about process, that's fitness. When we're talking about procedures, that's hygiene. You have to keep up with your business hygiene, and that's making sure that all your procedures are current. They're captured in SOPs, right? So, and everybody knows exactly what they're doing on the back end. You're keeping that hygiene environment, that hygienic environment, right? So fitness implies what it is. It's like you're practicing, and training implies role playing. You've got a 12 pack when it comes to executing your process and procedures and your scripting, right? So guys, this never stops. This never ends, right? So what we know is we're in the business of saving lives, and when business is good, everybody wins. So my question to you is, are you training like it?
Please stick around for more business insights from this week's bonus interview with our remarkable success partner dedicated to helping you more successfully help more people. Enjoy. All right, remarkable CEOs, Dr. Pete here with one of my dear friends, brothers, colleagues, first guy I met who gave me a hug at Remarkable Practice many years ago, Dr. Roger Sahoury, world-class chiropractor, amazing leader, amazing father, husband, and CEO, multiple businesses, and one that we're going to talk about today that's could help you explode your business, the SprintSet energizing weight loss system. Hey, Roger, thanks for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me, my brother. Love you.
Love you too. As you guys know, we have partnered with key people in the industry that are going to help the doctors who we work with in Remarkable become more successful in helping more people, driving a bigger impact and driving bigger income. And Roger does that. He's been a faithful CEO and success part of the Remarkable practice since, as far as I can remember, so back to probably 2017, 18. This guy has been serving chiropractic as well through his SprintSet energizing weight loss business. And I had the opportunity to be a SprintSet, to go through a SprintSet myself as a user, so basically as a client. And I work with, as a coach, several of his providers who are delivering this in their businesses. And so, Roger, the reason why this is such a powerful time for you and I to have together is because so many of our listeners don't know about you. They don't know about SprintSet energizing weight loss system. So give us a little bit of the story, a little bit of who you are. Tell us who you are a little bit your why, and a little bit about the what. Like, what is it? What is SprintSet? So give us a little bit of that to start, and then I've got some other questions for you.
Awesome. Pete, you know this, but many don't. First and foremost, God is number one in my life. I'm a man of faith. My whole house, the center of our home, is the Lord. I have an amazing wife, as we say, a Proverbs 31 woman. She's just amazing. And I have 3 beautiful girls. So that's my joy in life. I live by, God, number 1, taking care of my health is number 2. Number 3 is my family, because without my health, I couldn't be enough for my family. And then without just the love and the God-centered home that I have with my family, it wouldn't make sense to serve the mission. But I am here to serve the mission, and that's why I am here. I've run a very successful chiropractic wellness center for over 2 decades. Many of those years, close to, right around that 1,000 patient visit a week mark. Been speaking globally, international best-selling author in 4 countries, but most importantly, I am here to serve you today, Pete, and all your listeners, my brother.
your story is so powerful and how you got into chiropractic. And I know you're not going to tell that story today, but can you tell the story about how you got into SprintSet? Like, where did that come from and why you feel that this business, because you could just stay focused on your family and growing your awesome chiropractic business and just focus there, but like many chiropractors do, but you had a conviction that there was more. You wanted to bring more to this profession, and this is part of your heart. So share with us a little bit about the genesis of SprintSet, and then obviously it's evolved, and I've watched it evolve as you've continued to grow it and develop it over time. So we're now here, in 2025, going into 2026, and this business has continued to upgrade and improve year after year after year. But give us a little bit of the beginning, and then bring us up to speed of where we're at right now.
A little bit about the beginning is where you're taught in chiropractic, right? You're talking about the physical, chemical, emotional piece, right? Chemical being that lifestyle component. And I was finding that as a very big hole as far as what was happening in the patient world. I was on boards of many different companies, and I still found holes in everything out there. I said, so you know what? I just need to develop this. Let me put my mind here. Let's take all the research that I've ever done. Let me talk to all the brilliant minds. Let me gather everything, and then let me put it together. And I did. It's been such a transformation in sealing that gap, because we know life flow plus lifestyle gives you a longer lasting lifespan. And as chiropractors or healthpreneurs, right, that we like to be out there, we want to make an impact in the patient's lives. And one of the biggest challenges in the chiropractic profession is the retention model. You want to be in the conversation with people because you're at a point in a bucket, right, where they are what they're looking for right now. You've already may have solved, the pain piece, the injury piece of them. And now it's like, all right, well, what's the next piece? So you got to stay in that conversation, that lifestyle component. Hey, I want to lose weight. I want to balance out my hormones. I want to cleanse my body out. I want to get rid of this joint pain, whatever it may be. You want to be in that conversation. SprintSet solves that piece. And the way that we solve that piece is we become your team, right? So you want to leverage systems, people, technology, right? Because you have certain resources that you have, right? You have your time, you have your energy, you have your financial money, and then you have your focus. So what we've done is we come on board with people and with doctors and with staff, and we say, let us be your team. Let us be your team to take care of your people. Let us care for your people. Let us help you with that retention aspect. Let us be an attraction piece for you. Let us be a revenue builder for you, because you desperately need it, right? What we found is that our retention is extremely high. And the reason it's extremely high is because of this component. So what we'll do is first we'll tell people, listen, let's get you checked to see how healthy your body is truly running from within. We've run the nervous system check, but now let's run a body composition analysis. Let's run a cellular inflammatory test. Let's see if you have oxidative stress, hormonal resistance going on in your body. Let's see if you are falling in that category where you're at risk for heart disease, right? If you're at risk for diabetes or whatever it may be. Some of them are already dealing with that. So they come in, we have that test done. Once that test is done, now what happens is the conversation occurs where you will hand them off to our team. Our team begins to connect with that person that has been looking for something. Now, this isn't taking your team's time because we're doing that piece. Now we move them over to a customized system for them. Let's say it's weight loss. Okay. Let's use that as the example piece. And this person needs to lose 30 pounds. So we put them on what we call a full SprintSet. Now they run through a system. They have a coach that monitors them. They run through sprints and sets, which they're eating real foods. Okay. they're incorporating specific fasting styles as well. They're cleaning out their cells, they're getting their hormones. They become raving fans because that 30 pounds is not uncommon to come off in that full SprintSet. Now, they become raving fans. They start to refer other people into the practice. And now you're building an attraction piece, but also retaining them because you just made a huge impact in their lives. Maybe they came off of diabetic medications. Maybe they came off that metformin. Maybe they got off of their insulin, right? Maybe they came off their hypertension medication. Maybe their joints are all feeling so great. Ellen, the other day, who came in, she was so hesitant about starting, and this is my own practice. She was referred by another patient into the practice. She has been, her spouse passed away. She used to play guitar. She's a big part of her church. She's been under chiropractic care, and she still had all that pain. She came in as a patient for hours. Chiropractically, started making a big difference, but that inflammation in her hands weren't going away. We put her on SprintSet. Within 45 days, she started playing the guitar again. She got her life back. What is she doing? She's now referring everybody into the practice, but chiropractically, I've been taking care of her for, 8 months, and she didn't refer anyone. And then all of a sudden, she did SprintSet, and she's referred 5 people in already. 5. So it's like, wow, get into the conversation of what they're looking for, get them excited, and then they start coming in. They start sending other people in. I mean, that's really the key. And then we support them lifetime. I know I got some great new features. Pete, let me let you talk a little bit.
You guys, so Dr. Roger and I, we've known each other for a long time. He's been around TRP. He's an incredible human. As you guys are hearing his heart and his wisdom, and he solved a problem. See, this is what we say. Every business exists to solve a problem. He solved a problem for you. If you're listening to this, this is a problem you have in your practice. If you're not addressing the lifestyle component and you're not doing it effectively, you might say, well, I talk about it. I teach advanced workshops. Whatever. Okay. But do you have a system in place that's rooted in technology, that's rooted in truth, that has a team backing it up? Because where I know I fall, Dr. Roger, is follow up and follow through. I'm a visionary like you, like big picture. We love to get things going. It's just, we leave a mess behind us, a whole trail of casualties along the way. We don't have the pieces in place to help us. What Dr. Roger and his team have done is they built the system to do it for you. Yeah, you got to get the patient, refer them into the thing. That's like the majority of what you do. And then they get connected with their coach. They get set up in the program. They leverage the technology, and you're getting all the benefits of it because they're looking at you as being, the person that helped them do this. So, Dr. Roger, what does it look like for me if I'm listening to this? I'm like, okay, yeah, it's 2025. We're going into 2026. I've got to turn some things around. I'm looking to create some new revenue streams. I love this idea of marketing. It can open the door for some more marketing. I love retention because that's what's happening. We're having to replace people in our marketing. It's been struggle bus. And now so you're talking about, we're going to get more attraction, more referrals, more retention, more revenue, new revenue associated with on top of the chiropractic. Now we've got this as another added revenue stream, and it's not all dependent upon me. What does that look like? Because I think this year in 2026, a lot of you who are listening, you need to add in new revenue drivers, new revenue streams. You need to do that, but things that are congruent, keeping your foot, right? Principle plants on the principle. Keep the main thing. And Roger knows that. I mean, he's life flow, chiropractic, lifestyle equals lifespan. Doc, what does it look like for a chiropractor, a clinic right now listening to say, hey, if we could add this in, what kind of a revenue bump could we see in the next 12 months if we did this right? Let's be conservative. And what kind of requirement of time, energy, and focus for you, me, if I'm the doctor, and my team, are we really looking at? Give us some numbers, what we could expect, even conservatively, ballpark. Give us, just because I know you've got a lot of data over the years from your clients.
Of course. So let's talk about, so there's an affiliate model, there's a provider model, right? Okay. So if we're looking at, just like as an affiliate source, right? It could be as little as adding an extra couple of grand a month into the practice. Okay. If we're a more of aggressive affiliate, one who's going to be referring, well, that's an extra, 20, could be 20 grand, right? A month. If we are a provider on the high end, you could be up an extra million or so in revenue for the year. On the lower end, you'll bring in 6 figures, right? So it comes down to really the individual the individual office. And look, I'm not going to say that there's zero effort on your part, because there is going to be some effort, right? There's going to be effort of you definitely making a referral, right? And then if you want to put a little bit of ad spend, you can do that, right? But we have the vehicles for the marketing in place. We will do webinars for you. So you get the people, will give us the list. We get the people to the webinar. I'll actually do the webinar for you, and then drive them to get their body comp, and then move them to the sale, right? So we'll do those kind of things. We got text campaigns done, email campaigns done. Patients are loving we have new features coming out right now. So like a Snap Chef AI as well, where you can just open up your fridge, take a picture of it. It'll tell you what recipes to make, cool little features like that. What you have coaches that are there to support you the entire, the client every single day, right? So you have a snapshot, like you could go right into dashboards, exactly what's going on with your client. Look, this is how much weight they lost. This is where their energy was. It was at 30%. Now it's at 70%. This is what's going on as far as their body comp. Everything's improving. This is where they are. They've graduated here. Oh, they bought nutrition in the lifetime component because we watched them for a lifetime. And now all of a sudden there's more income going into your bank account, right? So there's a lot of different components of like what it can look like. I know I jumped a little bit off.
No, it's good. So if I'm listening, this is a podcast, maybe you're watching on YouTube, you're seeing Roger but so what would be the next step? Like in these scenarios for me, I'm always like, all right, what's the next thing I need to do? Like everybody that's listening has a lot going on. They're probably multitasking while they're listening to this right now, right?
Yeah.
But what would be a very simple, what's the most practical next step for anybody who's interested in, what, I am interested in this. I need to learn a little bit more though. I got an idea, but I need to know more. What's the next step?
Next step would be to jump onto a one-on-one with me. I'll show you the back end of everything. And then we can go from there and see if we're the right fit for each other. Because I also want to make sure you're the right fit for me. I don't just accept every single person, right? In every single office, right? There is criteria that I want to make sure it is the right fit. So it's not wasting my time, energy, and resources as well. There is a cost for me to run things, and I just want to make sure that it's being well spent as well. Yes. So I want the right partner. So listen, if you're somebody who is looking to add a lifestyle component, and I'm not talking about, hey, listen, I have this certain kind of maybe program with shakes and just nutritional supplements. That's not who we are. We're a system. We're a bolt-on system, to your business here. We're here to help you move that needle, move forward, and make an impact in your patients' lives, and be that go-to person where they know this is the place that I need to be and the place that I need to go if I'm looking to get healthy. And you as a doctor know there's certain criteria for you to get healthy, right? You got to get adjusted. We know that. But you got to get sleep. You got to hydrate your body. You got to move your body regularly. You got to do things. You got to have time with the Lord so that you feel yourself spiritually as well. You have to be able to communicate properly with your family, show them love, meet their love languages, right? There are things that you need to do in order to get your body to be healthy. It's the same exact thing when it comes to your business. And we care about your business because it's our business. It's our family. So we got to take a look at you like you're our children, and we got to take care of our children and our household. It's the same exact way. So when we partner with you, we care for you. I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to care for you. And if you're looking to make a bigger impact this 2026, then we can be the right fit. If you're not, I'm not a transactional guy. I'm a relational guy. Anybody who knows me knows I am relational. I am not transactional, because I will walk away from something based on a transaction like this. But when it comes to people that I know actually care about me, I'm more open to staying with them, which is why I've been with TRP for a decade, honestly. So It's about being relational, not transactional. And if that is who you are and that's what you're looking for, and you want to help your bottom line as well, then we can be a good fit. Let's get on that call and let's just see. I mean, that's really what it's about.
And I'll say this about you as we wrap, and thank you for sharing that and sharing your heart. That's who you get when you get Roger, though. Dr. Roger, this is who he is. He shared his heart there. What I know about Dr. Roger and what he brings is relational is so powerful. But I will say this, the system is the transactional part. In other words, he's built the system to do the work. All those checks and balances and follow up and follow through, those emails, everything he talked about, like that's a lot of transactional elements that are very detailed, and he's got all that built in so that you can continue to build the relationship with your patients and be that relationship leader. What we know is that when you combine the transactional with the relational, that's transformational. And that's what this leads to. This is a transformational setup for your business if you were to choose to go that route. Like you said, if it's a good fit. And like Dr. Rogers said, he'll at least talk to you. And I think a good next step. So what's the way that they get in contact with you then?
If they just go to SprintSet.com, and then from there, they can just hit the provider scheduler, and then they can get on with my team. Pete, I did want to finish one last thing too. I know that people are in the conversation of two other components today, right? One is a question that may come up is, do you guys incorporate AI, right? I do want you to know that when our coaches step away from the desk because their hours are over, right? They're humans, that we do have a coach AI system built in, right? Our Snap Chef is an AI, built system. The other AI built system is a Dine Right. If your patients go out to eat, they could scan a menu. It'll tell them exactly what to order or what to tell the waiter. So there is AI built in there. The second thing is the conversation about how about GLP-1s, where we are not a GLP-1 system, but we do take care of a lot of people who are on GLP-1s, right? Or have had some damage from GLP-1s, right? And now all of a sudden are coming to us or want to get off the GLP-1s and know how to transition safely, that they don't regain that weight back. So I did want to add that piece in there. But we are definitely a system that is human contact, right? They get real people with a team of coaches, and you may have a weight loss system in your practice, but your biggest fear is if your coach leaves or your salesperson leaves, you don't ever have to worry about that with us because we have a team of coaches. If one ever left, another one steps in and takes over. So you never have to worry about that piece ever. So again, Pete, thank you for having me on here. This has been wonderful, brother.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for joining me. And you all heard him say it. Go to SprintSet.com and book a call and take it from him. Dr. Rogers, appreciate you. Thank you all for listening. And until next week, God bless you all. Have a great rest of your day.
God bless you all.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, direct message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors.